Good afternoon, good day, good morning, no matter where you are and what time it is. This is the Upper Room, and I am Eugene Hold, and your guest. No, I keep saying that. I am your host. And so the Upper Room is where we get to talk about whatever comes up, right? And also talking about it from a higher state of consciousness, which is why we call it the Upper Room. And today I have as my guest, because I'm the host, so my guest today is my beautiful dear friend, the Reverend Elzia Sekou. And I want to change this around here. There we go. Because, okay, we can turn that off now.
Got the island groove, man.
An island groove, man. Yeah. Woo-wee. Yeah, man. I wanted to switch it over because for some reason, as you know, the name only shows up on that side. So this is my guest, the Reverend Elzia Sekou. But not only my guest, but this is my dear brother, my dear friend. Man, we've been knowing each other since 2008, to be exact. I know exactly. Yeah. So Elzia, today, man, I wanted to talk about, and I think it's a great theme for this month where CSL was put out for the month is passion and purpose. Passion and purpose. Because, we talk about, and I talk, when I give talks or do classes or whatever I do, I talk about tapping into your purpose. What is your purpose for being here? Because we each, whether we know it or not, all of us around the globe, all 8+ billion of us, have a purpose for being here. Otherwise, why are we here, right? And what I like to say is that purpose doesn't have to be some earth-shattering huge thing. The purpose can be just to smile at the next person that you see.
Yeah.
So I wanted just to dive into, what that means for you, what purpose means for you, what passion means for you, and how people may be able to tap into their purpose with passion or live their life passionately with purpose. I love those words.
Yes.
So again, welcome, man. Welcome to the Upper Room. I'm glad you're here. Haven't seen you since, it was a year ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That went by quick.
Yeah.
The celebrating our soul. Yeah.
I am. I'm still vibrating from that whole event, and I'm just looking forward and waiting for the next one to pop up. Whenever it pops up, I'll be ready.
August 1st through the 4th, 2024. August 1st through the 4th. The reason why I know that is because I purposely got onto the visioning team.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and as we talk about purpose and passion, that event is a great definition, I think, for me to speak to, in that, when I think about purpose, I think about something that is yours to do. Now, I know that word has been used a whole lot, what's mine to do, but I think about purpose, it's about what's yours to do. And that means it's an individual thing because it's your thing. But I think the foundational piece, there's that song that says, "Why have we come to earth?" And it says to love, serve, and remember. And so when you can put yourself in that place, we're here to love, to serve, and to remember that we can be anything we want to be. We have a direct connection to the mind of God, the infinite, all there is, and all we need to do is realize it. And we do that by loving and serving. It'll just pop up like Jack in the Box. And so when I think about purpose, that's what I think about. Now, when I think about passion, I think about that internal flame that allows us to, without no codding or no pushing or none of that, there's something inside that keeps you interested, that keeps you moving, that keeps you motivated and inspired to do something. And when you can put those together, when you can understand that I can do it, I need to first remember who I am. And then I need to, from that standpoint, I begin to love everybody. And then I can serve from that place. This passion of what I do well and what it motivates me happens, I think, automatically.
Yeah. Or does it? And the reason why I bring that question up, because sometimes, even though the purpose is there and I automatically feel this passion to do it, but sometimes there's this fear that comes up that I'm afraid to show up.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
yes.
Which, to put it quite simply, sucks because it doesn't feel good. You know, and I love that emotion of God, it sucks. And why don't I feel good? Why do I feel like life is blah, blah, blah? And what I came to realize is that I'm not living my purpose on purpose.
Right.
Yeah. So then you're right? Because then we get back to that, okay, well, let me now serve my purpose. Ooh, let me serve my purpose. And then automatically things begin to open up.
Yes. And it's like, you know, that point of when I find myself in those awkward, funky kind of places, if I was to take inventory, it winds around in my head to say, you have forgotten who you are.
Right.
And that's why you're mad, or that's why you're sad, or not that those aren't valid emotions, because we have this ebb and flow of life. But I know when I'm not flowing, because I think when we're in the flow, we're on purpose.
Right.
Because
absolutely.
It just goes easily and effortlessly. But when I'm not, and I find myself skipping a couple of beats, the first thing I need to do is say, okay, what am I not remembering about myself, about who I am, about my connection with the divine that's causing me to skip a beat?
Right.
And when that happens, when I can, you know, it's like, I'll give you a good example. Just popped into my mind. Like back in, you know, you had the 10 speeds before they got to be, you know, $5,000 for a 10-speed bike. You changed the gears and you had to change the little thing, and they weren't that smooth, and it had to jump from one sprocket to the other sprocket. Now, if you were going at the right speed and you had your stuff all greased up, when you shifted gear, it switched sprockets, no problem.
Nice and smooth, right?
But when it wasn't greased properly, it's clunking, and next thing you know, you might be on the ground. It's that same thing. When we're in our passion and purpose, it just glides back and forth, going from a higher sprocket to a lower sprocket to a middle sprocket.
Right. And that and that happens when we choose to.
Yes.
You know, great analogy, my brother. You know, we get to shift gears whenever we feel that it's time to shift gears.
Yes.
But we're still going forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful analogy on that. Yeah.
And you know, I like one of the things I'm passionate about is genealogy. Right. So I've been doing some genealogy on all sides of my family and got some results. But I know it's a passion, because if anybody say anything anywhere in a room near me and I hear it about genealogy, I'm going to talk to them. I may not even know them. They may not even want to talk to me, right? But there's a passion about understanding our roots, who we are, where we came from, what characteristics that show up in our family over and over again that I have a bit of, right? Now, if we flip that into a divine space, I can do the same thing with God or the source or the all there is, and say, what are the traits that have been passed down spiritually?
Ooh, come on, man.
That allows me to move with ease and grace and to get excited just when I hear a name or when I see an activity. When that happens, we know we're working on this passion and purpose thing. And it's just, how do we, as we were just saying, how do we stay in that groove and move and just like in the beginning, we had the music going to a different beat. Some
Right.
people can't, that island beat, man, you bring in them pans and it's got that syncopation and got the rhythm behind it. Some people kind of skip, they can't get in that groove, but when you can find it, you just roll.
Right. Yeah. 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 Find your groove, find your purpose, find your groove and roll with it. Right.
Yeah.
And then to find your purpose and roll with it with passion.
Mm.
Because
Yes.
passion, because when I think about being passionate, right, I think about being on fire, right, or being inspired, right. And I love words. So that word inspired, right, to be in spirit, to be on fire with my purpose, and so I want to. You reminded me of something a few bars back, where when I'm not experiencing my highest and best self, then the question that I ask is, what have I not been doing? Right? And I remember first asking myself that question when things just weren't going well over a week or two. And when I heard myself ask the question, what have you not been doing? It's like, you haven't meditated in 2 weeks. Well, no wonder. You haven't been connected. And that's I love to sit with spirit, the all that there is. Call it whatever I want to call it. As the Tao Te Ching reminds us, there is no name for it. But whatever we call it, to connect with that on a consistent basis. For me, connecting with it informs me of what my purpose is, and as you were saying earlier, Elzia, what's mine to do? What's mine to do? And that's a great thing. And for me, that's the second question. What's mine to do? My first question is, who am I to be?
Yeah.
Because when I cap it, go.
No. I was just gonna say because if you move in without that piece of information, you're wandering. You're not really moving.
Right. So who am I to be informs what's mine to do. Yeah. Because maybe what I'm to be in this situation is to be quiet. Or maybe I'm to be a way shower. Maybe I'm to be in the background to help out. Maybe I'm to lead, but I need to tap into who am I to be, and then shift the gears accordingly. Yes. I love that. Yes. I love that hand speed analogy, dude. Yeah.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing that you just brought up for me. It's like, a lot of people try to use motivation and inspiration interchangeably, but they're two different things.
Speak more to that.
Because as you were saying, inspiration is an internal fire, internal spirit that sparks. And once that's lit, it's done. It's like an old gas stove. The pilot light is always there. Sometimes it's low, but if you just turn the knob, it's internal spark. But now motivation by definition means I need a stick, right? I got to get behind you. I got to motivate you. I got to push. That's what coaches do. That's what all the NFL coaches are doing right now. They're screaming at the players. They're making them run extra wind sprints when they mess. They're motivating them to do something that they may not want to do, although they know it's good for them. But when you're inspired to do it, coach ain't got to tell me nothing. Coach said we're going to run sprints. I'm done with those. We got some more. What's going on? What we doing?
What's going on? Yeah. And I love it because the inspiration, I'm inspired because my purpose is pulling me. So I'm inspired to do it. So in that inspiration, see, here we go. With that inspiration, now I'm passionate about it because I'm inspired to do this. Yeah. So those football players, man, that's their purpose for being there. They're on the field because they've had that dream, that vision since they were kids. Since they were kids.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. You think about the rookies that are just going into camp this year, 21, 22, depends on when their birthday was. Most of them probably start playing football at some form, 8 years old.
Right.
So they've been playing for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know, they've been playing for about 18 years.
Right.
And so that's all their life.
Right.
And so that is a purpose that's driving them to be the
Right.
best, whatever position they play, or to make it to the NFL, or to win the Super Bowl, or to get the MVP. Now, just that passion. See, and here's where the adjustment comes in. Neither the passion by itself nor the purpose by itself will get you to the end of that, because there's some hard work in between.
Right.
And so there's an interleaving between the two that has to take place. Sometimes I'm purpose driven. Sometimes I'm passion driven. And they will interchange depending on how obtainable that thing seems at the present moment, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like, because I may say I want to be a professional football player when I was 8, or not. You ain't even going to you. That's a lofty dream. First thing is I want to make the first team. I want to start, right? Well, just having that thought of establishing that purpose won't work without some passion to get out there
Right.
and do, as they say, when you've done what's required, then you must do what's necessary.
Come on.
And it's that necessary part that most people give up on. They'll do what's required. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to fill out the papers, and okay, I did that. I did all that was required. Okay, now you got to do what's necessary to get to the next step. Most people start checking out on that point.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 Well, what's that stat? You know, that people will go the 99%, but it's that last percent,
Yeah.
you know, whatever is necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
It's like
whatever
that
is
song.
necessary.
I know you might remember this. I can't. It's that song that says 99 and a half won't do. I got to have 100. I forget the name of that song. And who sung it? But that song says even if you get to 99 and a half,
That won't do.
that won't do. Won't
Yeah.
do.
You know, because think about that, right? How is it that I can live my purpose 99.5%? Now I'm just pretending.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm just
Mm-hmm.
talking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as you know, to quote the Godfather of Soul, you know, when I'm if I only doing 99.5% of my purpose, you know, it's like a dull knife that just ain't cutting. You just talking loud and saying nothing.
Saying nothing.
Or as my other brother, no, as my brother who's right here right now would say, you know, well, you say you a rainmaker, make it rain.
Make it rain.
So if my purpose is to be a rainmaker, well, then let me do what's required, right? Yes. Let me learn what I need to learn. Now let me do what's necessary. And what's necessary is to make it rain.
Make it rain. Yeah, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, purpose is something that's individualized for each individual on this planet, right. And it's not singular, right? You may have more than one purpose.
Right.
Right. And so oftentimes I hear people talking about purpose and they just talk about the one thing, but it could be more than one.
Right. Right.
And so when we can realize that, we can begin to stay. That's what the inspiration does. I think it allows you to have a broader vision, not a tunnel vision.
Right. You know, it's interesting that you put it like that. No, because my purpose is to remind people of who and what they are, right? And so, but I have different ways of doing that. I realize, you know, yeah, I speak, yeah, I teach, yeah, I do this. But most people don't realize that I'm a percussionist, and I love playing music. So I get to share it like that too. And people go, "Wow, if he can do that, I can do that." I love playing percussion where there are kids that are in the crowd, because kids will come up and they want to play. They want to tap on it. I'm like, please play. right? Because so I get to fulfill that part of the purpose. Because you're right, man. The purpose is multidimensional.
Yeah, yeah. And I think a key word you just said there is the play. The kids want to play,
Play,
right?
play.
So when you're able to do things that have that energy of play, right? It doesn't have to necessarily. It just has the energy of play.
Right,
It's gleeful. It's off the walls. It's just something that just excites you.
right,
Then you either done found it or you moving in the direction of your purpose,
right,
because that is the essence of knowing who we are.
right,
Is when we can do a thing and not even realize we're doing it.
right. Going back to the sports, the football players, just to say sports. So, what is it that people in sports, and what is it that musicians do? They play.
They play.
They play. Hey, you want to play? This Sunday? Yep. Hey, you want to play? You want to go play a game? Yeah. Let's go play. What I love about professional musicians and sports people is that they get paid very well to play.
Yes.
So
Yes.
as we tap into our purpose in playing with passion, why not get paid for serving your purpose?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. And that's
and go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and it's always been said that people who are in the arts and entertainment are very closely aligned with spirit, because they do things that are extraordinary. And when you look at them, they're doing them and they're like, wow, how did he catch that ball? How did he play that rhythm? How did they write that song? And it's an expression of spirit itself that's uninhibited, because it's from a passion, it's from a purpose of allowing themselves to be and remember that we're all connected. And if I can set this play tone, if you will, it gives everybody else a permission to do the same.
Right. And because that's the purpose and people have a passion for it, they're going to do what's necessary to get to the point where people go, yes. How did they do that?
Yes.
Well, they did the work, right?
Yes.
They did what was necessary. There are so many greats that we can talk about. There's Michael Jordan, there's, Mike Tyson, there's, Magic Johnson, going way back, and then even today, these I'm going to call them young kids. I was watching some YouTube stuff, man. And these kids on the drum set are just phenomenal. Right. They put in their, time to practice, but that's their purpose. Their purpose, their passion is to play music, and they do it like it's nothing. I'm like, man, look at the talent on this young kid who's 12 years old.
Yes.
Having the ball playing.
Yes. And the good thing when we start looking at this passion and purpose, when we see someone who's tapped into both of those, like a 12-year-old drummer, you become inspired to say, well, if I don't know mine, I need to find it. And if I already know it, I need to get it, because that has inspired me to see such a young person, old person, doesn't matter, but it's real evident with a young person to see them doing something at a level that is supposedly beyond who they are because of their age. You just say, wow, I need to get busy. I need to get busy.
Yeah. And then we get to ask the question, okay, so now what's mine to do? What lights my fire? What inspires me? What lights me up?
One thing that can be done, you mentioned it earlier, is meditation, is journaling, is contemplation. These things that give yourself a pause so that you can see, even you may have a passion and a purpose for something that you may not even be good at right now.
Right.
But if you sit in that silence or you journal your things uninhibited, it begins to unfold. And now you found it. And now you just have to go through okay, what is required? All right, now I've done all that. Let me do what's necessary to make this thing happen.
Yeah. Remind that what right you just said. Let me would do what's required, and now let me do what's necessary. I think this is from Malcolm X, I believe. Um, do what you have to do in order to do what you want to do.
Yes.
Right. So do what's necessary. Do what's required. Do what's necessary, so that then you can do what you're here to do.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing up those spiritual tools, or those tools of meditation and journaling. I was just reading somewhere earlier today. Oh, Dr. Joe Dispenza was talking about that the meditation that folks do. Science has, I don't know, I'm not going to look it up right now, but that meditation taps into an enzyme, a protein that helps fight against the corona-19 virus. Meditation.
Yeah.
So I thought about that going, so I wonder if they did a study. I'm getting off the track here, but that's all right, because that's my purpose for being here. They did a study of all of the people who did not contract the virus at all, if they had that particular practice.
Yeah. And see, someone has that purpose. Right. There's a lot of talk now about AI, right?
Right.
And the purpose and da. But I heard a great commentary about the one, it says one of the purposes of this thing, amidst all the so-called good and bad, is one day it is going to be able to find the 12, 15, 20 people around the globe who's working on a specific thing. Let's just say cancer. They don't know each other, but they're working on the same thing, but they don't have contact or communication. AI, one of the purposes of that AI is going to be, I see all these things and they fit perfectly when they're put in this order, not in that order. And it will be able to do that in seconds and create some ideas and create some medicines and some approaches and some strategies that may take us 100 years to figure it out, because we can't see all the connections and pull it together. So that's a purpose. That's going to be great when it happens.
Yeah. Hoo-wee, man. See, I keep saying, because depending on who my guest is, I keep saying that a half an hour is never long enough. And I knew that when you and I get on, I'm like, okay, we gotta go. But I knew it's like, okay, all righty. So my brother, Reverend Elzia Sekou, I hope that you will come back to the upper room, because we always have upper conversations.
Yes, and I'm more than overjoyed to come back at any time, because this is what we need. We need open, honest conversation with touch points and reference points that people can tap into. Not something that's going to seem too intellectual or seem too academic. We want to give you that because it's needed, but we want to make it down home, so so that you can take it in your plate and chew it up a little bit.
Right. And also on the flip side, not, woo woo, but we want to make it go woo. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We want woo, not woo woo.
Right. That's my brother. I keep trying to tell people. Keep trying to tell you all.
Oh, I love
it. Rev, thank you so very much.
And my pleasure. I look forward to our next interaction and conversation in the upper room.
All righty, man. Be well, and I'll talk with you soon. Folks, join us in the upper room every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern. Peace.